everybody to the show. This is Tonya Hofmann, and this is my TV show, and it's a fabulous TV show as it is. I'm super excited today to have the fabulous Miss Marian LaSalle and the most incredible Miss Elizabeth Bachman on the show today. So we are going to have a blast. You are in for a treat because these ladies are amazing, and you will definitely want to stick around to the end because we usually have some incredible offer contest or something. So stick around and we'll have a blast the whole time. And today what we're doing is talking about marketing and how to grow our business, how to grow ourselves, because a lot of what we have to do in marketing is about personal development. Don't y'all think?
Oh yeah.
I think.
And a lot of it is hard, it's like putting your face on everything. Put your face on your books, put your face on your business card so it shows up the entire thing. It is hard to focus on yourself a lot of times, especially as a speaker, but it's part of branding and all that kind of fun things. So I would love a tip from each of you real quick to kind of get us started, and we'll just kind of get going. Something that you're like, if people knew this one thing, right? So how about you, Miss Marian?
Oh my goodness, yes. So because of all the really cool new technology that's coming out almost daily, there's something new that we can use in our marketing. So Blab, of course, any kind of live streaming now can be embedded right on your website. If you have WordPress, then you are able to not only embed it, but to also bring in all the comments that are over on the right-hand side that people are typing in. You can set it up ahead of time so that you plop in your keywords and make it make sense, of course, but really have a plan. And all of that goes right on your website and plays right on there with a real easy software. It's not that expensive. It's less than $70. And voila, you have a TV show right on your website. So it's working like magic.
Nice. So what is this magical thingy that you're going to refer us to?
Well, it's a really cool offer that I'll share with you either at the end or not. We have a complete done-for-you service where we let people have their own television show right on their WordPress website, and all they have to do is show up to the mic, and we take care of everything for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, Marian. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Ms. Elizabeth?
Well, I am an international opera director and presentation skills trainer. And so I believe in speaking live with people. That's one of the things I particularly love to do, is speaking. And I think that speaking to groups is one of the best ways to promote your business or your service. And speaking live on TV is something very cool. So, Marian, I'm going to want to find out about this later because I have my technical challenges, but love being able to do this, all the things that are available, so that you can speak to people around the world, which is what I do. My tip is make sure that you have a signature speech so that if somebody calls you up and says, hey, there's an open seat on Tonya Hofmann's show in 5 minutes, can you be ready to go? And if you put in the time at the beginning to put your signature speech together, then you can bring it anytime and you can use a piece of it. So one of the main programs that I work on is called Mastering a Signature Speech That Sells. And that's my tip. That's my thing. And also, the other thing about speeches is the more you speak, the more you're perceived as an expert. And the more you're perceived as an expert, the more you're going to be asked to speak. So it makes sense to have a signature speech ready to go.
Nice.
I'd like to tag on to that if you don't mind, Tonya.
Sure. Go ahead.
So Tonya took me in very early on. I was not a speaker, as she always likes to remind me. Yes, you are a speaker.
I'm not a speaker, Tonya. I'm not ready. Yeah. I'm not ready.
Right. But she trained me early on exactly what you were talking about, Elizabeth. She said, you've got to have it ready. So if the speaker doesn't show up, you can just step up and go, yes, I have everything I need. And so I prepared for that. And sure enough, with Public Speakers Association, that's exactly what has happened to me in the past. I show up to the meetings and the speaker didn't show, or they couldn't get their laptop to work and they're not going to do it without a PowerPoint. Well, Marian can, no problem. So thank you, Tonya, for all the training that you gave me and the ability to say, I don't care if I don't look the part that everybody thinks a speaker should look, I can still do it. I'm still able to get up and speak about what I'm passionate about. So thank you.
I love it. I've loved watching you own it, and you're the perfect example that I see a lot of people is this kind of, I think I can, but I'm not sure. And I'm like, just do it anyways. Yep. So, it's such a hard concept for a lot of people. And so my tip for today for the marketing is really about trying something new. It's kind of like what both Marian and Elizabeth are both saying, right? You're preparing, you're creating, but you're trying something to see what will happen. And a lot of times people are like, well, I've got a presentation, but I've never given it before. I don't know what people are going to think. Well, how are they going to know if you never open your mouth, how are you going to do live broadcasting if you never actually go and schedule one? So I think a lot of marketing is about doing and experimenting and getting over that you don't have to be perfect, right? It's about that expansion, about growth, and getting over your own insecurities.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Make sure that you've got someone who can give you good feedback afterwards.
There you go.
That's also good.
And because I'm in the technology industry, what I find is a lot of people get stuck on this tech. They get nervous and they get upset because their tech doesn't work, right? Like Elizabeth said earlier, I had to get Twitter to work, That's why we create Done For You services, because you need to do what you do best and then farm out the rest. That's my biggest quote. I say it almost every day.
Absolutely.
Well, and one of the things too is to find those people that can help, right? It's not about doing things by yourself. And I know that was a really hard one for me. I don't know if it was hard for y'all to get over, but I was like, well, I could do it. I could figure it out. And then you spend all week trying to figure out one solution that you could just go hire somebody who's done and you're making money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to go around real quick and have each of you kind of give us your elevator pitch of who you are, give your little bio. I want to hear some wow from each one of you. So Marian, you go first.
Well, okay. Marian LaSalle is many things, and it's hard to pin her down. One of the things that she loves the most is collaborating with other people. So I'm going to show you a book that I collaborated with Tonya Hofmann. So this is also something that we collaborated with 13 people all together, with Dr. Joe Vitale being in the middle. We are #1 bestseller in 3 countries on Amazon. So we're really excited about it. And that's what I'm all about. So you can't really pin me down. Like I said, I am in the tech industry. I love helping people get past the barriers of, I can't do that because this, So, but in reality, it's teamwork. If we work together, whether it's masterminds or whether you pay somebody or a mentorship or you have some kind of a group that helps you, a friend that helps you, something to do with helping people get it together as a group, you're going to move faster and it's going to be less expensive.
Love it. Thank you.
So I did put in thanks. I did put in the sidebar there how you can get a hold of me. I own a couple of different tech companies. One of them is Future Media Association, where we have training on software and different types of technology to help business owners. whether it be how to do Twitter or how to create your own videos. And then the other one is full service technology, where we have a whole host of different products and services, hence the words full service technology.
Nice, nice.
I live in Houston, Texas, and I have a daughter who lives in Michigan, and she makes me come to Michigan in Christmas time in the winter time to see my grandkids. So I'll quit complaining now about that.
Yeah. Well, at least you get well insulated, hopefully. They build the houses to be well insulated there.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Right. Come off and look like a little marshmallow, you know. Go off the plane. Squeak, squeak, squeak. That's what I would look like.
Why won't you let me come in the summertime? That's what I want to know.
I got an offer to go speak at a huge university up in Milwaukee, but they wanted me to come in February. And I was like, no, I don't care how much you're paying me. I will give it to somebody else. I gave them all these other names. I was like, I'm not going to Milwaukee in February. I'm so sorry.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Elizabeth, tell us about you.
So I'm Elizabeth Bachman, and as I said, as an international opera director and presentation skills trainer, what I'm really passionate about is working with people who have a message and who are out there speaking but aren't getting the results they want. And so what I really do is I help you move a room to take action, the way I did with Luciano Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, hundreds of other presenters. And what I really love to do is help people be fabulous in front of a group, because it's not so much what you're saying as how you say it. That's really the important part. And so people my clients call me the star maker for speakers, because that's what I do, is help you step into your power and claim your voice and show the world what a star that you are, the star that you know you are. And you just have to let the world know that.
I love that. Yay. And this is why I put myself around these amazing people, because they're fabulous and they're so adorable in all their cuteness. And if y'all don't know who I am Tonya Hofmann, and this is my Tonya Hofmann's Fabulous TV show. And I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association and Career Speaker Academy. And realistically, I love going out and speaking and changing lives. And then I love helping other people like Marian and Elizabeth go out and change other people's lives. And this is what's so exciting. You start these little ripple effects, you know. I help Marian and she grows and she starts rippling and she gets people and they start rippling, and we just get this huge, massive, positive, because all we hear nowadays seems like is something horrific on the news. Oh, yeah. Let's move this ripple of positivity and growth and excitement and wanting to help each other, you know. Mm-hmm. Why is that such a difficult concept?
Yeah.
But, you know, and it's so sad, you know, with Paris and everything else that's going on in this world, when you can connect with really amazing people, I tell you, your life will be so much different. I know, because I used to be, where's my little picture? So this was me in 2005 at the Leander Chamber of Commerce. So this was the introvert, Tonya Hofmann. And this is before I became all fabulous. I was so introverted that I couldn't, it always makes myself yellow. Let me readjust. I had such a hard time, you know, like Elizabeth was saying, you know, getting out on stage and having a presence. I was like, I'm going to sit here and be really quiet, because no one will hurt me if I'm really quiet. And people, you know, if y'all are having that, I can't be a speaker moment. All right, I've totally been there. If you had told me in 2005 that I would be doing what I'm doing now, I'd be like, you're crazy. And I know Marian has said that to herself. She's always said that to me. She's like, oh, Tonya, I am not a speaker. Go away. What are you talking about?
Why are you trying to push me? I don't understand.
And all I saw was all these people looking at Marian going, wow, she's so amazing. But she didn't see it in herself. I didn't see it in myself. Elizabeth, you probably see people all the time that don't see their fabulousness, right?
You know, a big part of what I do is that I will say, I will believe in you until you're ready to believe in yourself. And I only work with people I believe in. So, you know, I'm not gonna work with clients if I don't believe in what they're saying. And really, the cool part, and we all three, you know, you ladies, I'm so honored to be on here with you ladies, is what I really love is when a speaker gets up, when you have a message and you've got some sort of inspiration from something greater than you and a greater source, then our job as speakers is to be a channel for that message. It's kind of like if you were standing directly in the light of the sun with no atmosphere filtering out, you'd burn up to a crisp. But as a speaker, you can take that light and shape it and hone it so that it's warm, comforting light. It might be bright light to give people insight. Maybe it's really fine light like a laser so it can etch some beautiful design in the silver, in the silver platter, or all of that. And so our job is to filter, shape, and transmit that message. And so basically to be a channel for wherever the inspiration is coming from.
You know, one of the people always ask me, well, Tonya, what made you go from, you know, scary Tonya to, to, you know, who you are today? And there was one, it's just these moments, you know, you kind of get these glimpses and remember some things. And I remember the moment that I stood in front of somebody and I was telling people my story. And afterwards, she came up and she was crying. And she's like, Tonya, you've changed my life. I'm like, I changed your life? Yeah. How did I change your life? And it was that moment of, oh my gosh, I have power, just like everyone else, everyone who's listening. You have the power. And just like Elizabeth, to take that sunshine and shine it out and help others. You know, Marian has helped so many people grow technology where it's scary, right? Elizabeth has helped people take the speaking world and made it not so scary. You know, for me, okay, I might get you a little scared, but we're going to have fun being scared together.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, Marian, about, you know, what's some of the kind of the issues that you find that keeps people from really doing things like this, you know, Blab and Periscope and, you know, the kind of the new wave of social media that's hitting us.
What keeps them from doing it?
Yeah, or do you find something that as soon as you say something, they're like, oh, you know, or they kind of get it, or a strategy? I don't know.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, the problem that I see is fear. Okay. And I know that you see it, both of you ladies, when it comes to helping people try to get up on that stage, or, you know, so typically just the thought of having their voice on a podcast, not even a video, just their voice on a podcast, they don't know what they're going to say. They're not sure if anybody wants to listen to them. I mean, I hear all kinds of fear coming from them. And I'll give you an example of something that happened just the other day. Okay, now here's a lady who is in the healthcare industry, in the elder care. So she's retiring from the senior elder care industry, and she has so many years experience. She wants to help people, and she's got great products and services that are changing lives, and she wants to market that. So my first thought was, oh, we got to do video, we got to do a podcast, you know, we got to get all this stuff up on your website. And as soon as I started talking about the TV show, all the color left her face and went down. And then she turned beet red and she just kind of shrank down. And I thought, darn it, I've got to be able to help these people realize that they have to quit thinking about themselves and think about all the people that they could help. right? Just looking in the camera right now, there's somebody listening to me that I can help. And that can go for anybody, okay? I can help you. You can help somebody else. So don't let that fear, if you have that fear, let's work on it and find somebody that can help you get over it, because we all have something we need to share. So
yeah, I think that was the hardest thing for me becoming a speaker was, well, why would anyone want to listen to me? That was that was my mindset. And you probably get that a lot, Elizabeth, right?
Yes, you get that, or the gremlins, which saying, well, there are a lot of these other people talk about this, so who wants to listen to what I have to say?
Right.
But I firmly believe that there are people out there who need to hear it from you. Your listeners are out there. I mean, there's 7 billion people in the world, so there've got to be the ones who will only get it if they get it from you.
That's right.
And that's what I think is really important.
So Tonya teaches in the Public Speakers Association 2 rules. One, you can't be perfect, and the other one, you have to be nice. So the one about the perfect, right, is so wonderful, because no one wants to feel like they have to be perfect before they do the video or before they get up on stage and speak, before they do the podcast, because nobody's perfect. And you know what? There's people out there that are going to love you just the way you are. And there's going to be people that don't like you for whatever they get triggered on. So you know what? Those are okay. That we'll just leave those alone, and we'll focus on those people that love us.
Well, and I always say, and you've heard me say this, Marian, is you have to, because that was one of my biggest fears was, oh my gosh, that guy standing right there, he doesn't like me. He's got this whatever, and I'm like, why can't I change him? Why can't I get him to like me? What's wrong with me? Why, and not realizing that it has nothing to do with him or me.
That's
right? And then I started realizing that is about 25% of the room. It just doesn't like you. They don't care about you. They don't care what you're saying. They don't like what you're saying. They don't agree with your saying, whatever. But guess what? You don't like them either. So who cares? Stop focusing on the negative. Focus on the positive. Go out and change lives by connecting with really positive people that get you. And that's the hardest part, is the get you part. It's okay if someone doesn't get you. And I don't want anyone ever again, ever, do I say ever again, to look at their opt-outs on their email. If someone opts out, just let it go.
Let it go.
Bye. Have a good life. And every once in a while, someone will email me and they're like, well, I opted out. I think I opted out. Make sure I opted out. I'm like, well, have a good life. I'll make sure. Don't worry about it. Hope to see you back one day, because they do come back. Yeah. It's all timing.
And there are plenty of people. I mean, I confess I've been opting out of various newsletters from people who, because I'm overwhelmed with newsletters, and I've got Gmail, and over in the promotions tab, I have no time to look at it anymore. So, but what I will do is answer an email that's directly to me about something that we need to speak about. And, and I still love you. I know who you are. I'll just follow you another way, but please don't put me on your newsletter list, because I'm already swamped.
Right. Exactly. There are so many reasons that people opt out, and most of the time it has nothing to do with you personally.
Yes.
And I have had plenty of people. I've had people that are like, Tonya, I forgot. I really want to be back on your newsletter, but it won't let me. Can you, do something about it? So, they do come back when the timing is right.
And one thing that you said was that when you're focusing on the ones who are frowning, often that means that they're thinking. So it might not be that they don't like you. It might be that they're really concentrating on what you have to say, and that they're thinking about it.
I love that you said that, because there was a lady and we just hit it off. We were like 2 peas in a pod. She just couldn't wait for my presentation. And then I started talking and her face got all squished up. And she started writing down. And it was just like she was mad. And I was like, I thought she liked me. What is she? And I was like fretting the whole time. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then afterwards, she came up running up and she had a big smile on. She goes, that was amazing. That was her thinking face.
Yep. Yep.
That was just her way of taking notes. And I'm like, well, you really should check yourself in the mirror or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, and I know that with, the expansion of business, a lot of times it is tough. You're out there on social media, you get, emails that come through, and some of it's not nice, and we've got to deal with it. As you grow a business, there's going to be someone who doesn't like what you're doing. And it used to really bother me. I don't know if it bothered y'all before, but I used to get those, or I'd get someone say something negative at an event or something, and I'd be like, well,
and then you obsess about it, right?
Oh, it'd be like 2 weeks later, you're like,
oh yeah,
could have done differently. Why? And you start realizing, after you start fretting and everything. I started doing this, and this is a great tip for everybody. You write out an email response. Okay, so if you got an ugly email, write out a really long one. And then go back, delete it, don't send it, delete it, and then write an email saying, thank you, your name, and goodbye, right? Just thank you, Tonya Hofmann. And it's just like this whole, because you got it out of your system.
That's right.
How do y'all handle things like that?
That is fantastic. I really like that, because we do have to at least talk about it or write it out. We have to get it out some way. It's got to have a release. I have a friend who's a psychologist, and she told me about this neat, well, it's not neat really. It's an experiment that they used to do with rats, okay, and poor rats. They would electrocute them, and they would have another rat in the cage with them, and he would go over and beat up on that rat because he had to relieve that frustration. Well, then they found that they could put wood chips in there, and it would gnaw at the chips instead of beating up on the other one. So they figured out, oh my goodness, okay, you have to relieve that somehow, that stress of. So they found another way to get them all upset. Instead of shocking them, they would put food in front of them, take it away right before they ate, and then they would put it back in front of them. And so the frustration and the people being mean to us and all that, it has to be let out somehow. So that's a perfect way, I think. Another friend of mine told me to take ice cubes and throw them at the back fence or something, some way to relieve that, right? Yeah. So
I'd have to have bigger ice cubes, I guess.
Yeah. One of the things that I do often before I go out on stage is, if I think about something that I'm obsessing about or worried about, then I will put it onto the palm of my hand. Sorry if I can do this in a way that I can, here, got it on the palm of my hand here, and put it in a little bubble, surround it with light, and let it go. So I'm going to back away so you can see this. So that you've got it in a bubble of light, and it's like Glinda's bubble from The Wizard of Oz. And then
nice.
Let it go off to the universe, bless it and let it go. And the thing is that for a lot of the gremlins that have been with us for a long time, we might have to do that more than once. I mean, my gremlins have been with me for many years. But then if you're nervous, you can just sort of go and continue talking. But you just have this little and let it go. And it also gets oxygen into your system, which is a good thing.
Oh, nice. And I tell you, everyone that's listening, the most brilliant moments have always come from the thing that I was afraid of. And it's hard to explain why, but, I think there's some kind of like yin yang thing happening, right? When my book, A Client Today, The Coffee Shop Way, when I was giving a presentation. There was 100 people in an audience, about 50 people on a simulcast. And I was training and going over sales and how people should do, create sales and talk to strangers. And I was telling them that they needed to go to a local coffee shop. It would be perfect for their surroundings and everything. Well, this guy that was sitting, and they're always, for whatever reason, it's always a guy to my left. And I've got to find out why. But anyways, there's a guy to the left, and he goes, Tonya, he just blurted out, not everyone can sell at a coffee shop. I was like, sure it is. It's like a client a day the coffee shop way. And as soon as I said that, the whole crowd went crazy, and I wrote it down, right? Stopped the whole thing to write it down. And that's how I came up with my book title. Mm-hmm. It was from his negativity that I brought positivity to it, right?
Great.
And I think that energy exchange is so fruitful. Same thing with Own Your Fabulousness. There was another gentleman, again, to the left and just right in front. I'm not sure why, but anyways. And I was telling everyone how they have to be incredible, they have to be fabulous, and that everyone can own it and everyone can give fabulousness away. And this guy was like, not everyone can be fabulous. He was so ugly, right? And I just went off. I was like, are you kidding me? You have to own your fabulousness. And of course the crowd went, wah, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. So they come from, and if you have a good place, if you're coming from positivity and you push that positivity on top of negativity, the reaction is like sparks. I love it. So next time y'all are worried about that someone in the audience is going to be, the heckler or something, just remember to, whatever they say, just push back positivity on it, and the audience loves it,
Mm-hmm. Oh, so. Tonya, I had my first heckler at a Public Speakers Association meeting. Can you believe it? I was giving a presentation, and of course it was on like social media or something, and people always have like, they feel either really good about it or feel really bad about it, right? And I really didn't know what to do. I didn't react very well. I was ashamed of how I reacted. So I'm glad to hear this, because if it's never happened to you before, you don't know how you're going to react.
Believe me,
if I want to be on Facebook, then why are you on it? Just get off. It's like, don't complain about it. Just get off.
Mm-hmm.
And don't tell somebody else that they shouldn't be working with it if it's working for them, some people love doing, using a platform that they love. Why? Let them do it. Why do you have such an issue with it,
Tim Gillette's in the house. Hey, Rocker Life Coach, how you doing? And he says he can't imagine anybody heckling me. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, and this is something you'll have to remember, that there's that 25% that doesn't like you, that you don't like either. But there's 25% that love you, and they're ready to back you. They will come and they will be like, and that negative person, especially, and this is something y'all could do from stage for yourself. I always tell people my rules. You have to be nice and you can't be perfect. So if someone says something not nice, guess who's breaking rules, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And people really notice that. And ever since I started that, those hecklers have gone away, because they don't want to be the one who's not nice. Mm-hmm. And then if I mess up, if I trip, if my speech impediment comes out, I'm like, blah, 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 then I've told everyone that I'm not perfect, and they don't have to be perfect either. So it creates this symbiotic understanding of what's about to happen and what the rules are. And I think people really appreciate rules.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and also that shows your humanity. So that means that we can connect with you, and we can go, okay, this is someone I can empathize with, because she's not perfect, and and I'm not perfect, so that's great. Exactly. What makes me nuts is when I see speakers, especially a lot of the professional speakers and the ones who are out there doing it a lot, and they just phone it in, and they're up there and they're talking, and they've done this so many thousands of times, and it's not real anymore, and if you're telling your personal story and you're telling about where you had pain and where you came back from. If you've told that 1,000 times, then it's hard to keep it fresh.
Yes.
Which is actually
you
something
know,
that I
us-
help people with, because you know,
Nice.
if you're a Broadway actor, you have to keep that feeling fresh 8 times a week. There are ways of doing it. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
singers
ways of
that have to sing the same
helping.
song over and over again. It's like, oh,
Right.
It's a technique. Yeah.
Well,
the thing that's
it's
cool
just
is you
like,
only have to learn it once. Yeah.
nice. And it's like Les Brown came to our first conference for the Public Speakers Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all super excited about him being there and everything. His brilliance came out when he wasn't speaking his script.
right.
When it was just, didn't you find, Marian, when it was
Yep.
just off the cuff, and except for he did a couple things, well, we won't go over it, but you know, when he was just talking to us and giving us tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant. It was like his personality. It kind of, you saw it was something fun because it was something new for him to talk about. But as soon as he went to his script, it was flatline, and it was very disappointing. And I see that a lot with people who have been speaking for a long time, is that they flatline themselves.
It's like,
you know?
that they memorize that. I mean, they're just like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's like flat. That describes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you ask the audience a question and then you go on with the answer without giving them time to answer.
Right.
Or what I love is that the person who's the most professional person in the room, right? And they're going to be on stage and they're one of the speakers, and then they get up and they do this beautiful presentation and everyone's, yay, that was great. And they walk off and nobody goes over to them. Nobody says hello. Nobody says, hey, I want to buy something from you, or can I follow you, or can I talk to you? Nothing. And I'm like, how professional really are you if nobody wants to be a part of your community long term?
Yeah. Well, and they may have been sort of unconsciously scaring people if you're too perfect.
Exactly. But not even just the perfection part. I think it's the disconnect. You know, that's why I love these live broadcasts. You know, Periscope, Blab, because you're just there, right? You're just, you know, there's nothing, no editing, no perfecting. Too many people perfect themselves out of their personality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I see it on the phones, right? So tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday is our virtual summit, and everybody, I'll type in how to get on that. But it's full 2 days of amazing 30-minute presentations, just one after another, all kinds of different platforms, all kinds of subjects. And I can always tell when the person is reading.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Because they use words they would never actually use in real life.
Yeah.
But their personality goes away too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Elizabeth, have a tip on how to keep your personality on stage and not losing it because you're like in your head too much?
Well, actually, one of the great ways to do is just remind yourself to get out of your head, to make it about them. And actually, I have a super secret ninja tip for you. If you've got a script or notes or a PowerPoint, come up with a little symbol that will mean something to you. So, for instance, when I can get very serious, especially if I'm teaching, and I've been a teacher for a very long time, and I've been paid to tell people what to do for a very long time. So if I'm really concentrating and thinking, I forget to smile. So I had to find ways to remind myself to breathe and smile. And on a PowerPoint, it's you put in a little smiley face, and that's, everybody sees that you're reminding yourself to smile. So I thought, what could I do that would mean that for me? And I thought, well, what's smile in one of the other languages I speak? Because in the opera, you're supposed to be able to do it in multiple languages. So, and I thought, sonrisa in Spanish is smile, but it sounds like sunrise in English. So if you're ever watching me do a speech and I'm live and I've got my PowerPoint, if you see a little sunrise over in the corner, then you know that that's me reminding myself to smile. You could also find out something that means slow, if you tend to speed up to remind you to slow down. Something
Yes.
that kind of looks like wind would remind you to breathe.
Nice.
Just a little image that you know it means
I like that.
slow down.
I love that. So you're putting, because I know that people have put in cues into PowerPoints before, like little symbols that tell them like where they should be, you know, within the time of their, you know, if it's an hour presentation or something. But I never thought about putting in little cues for yourself to slow down, breathe, smile.
It helps to have somebody.
This is a hard one.
Yeah, it helps to have someone who can watch you and give you informed feedback and take notes. So some of my first speeches, I had a friend who would come and I would pay her way to come, and the first couple of speeches I gave, she put like 5 pages of notes, like, okay, I've got some work to do. I got to work on this presentation. But it was so helpful to just keep notes and say, you forgot to smile here. Smile there, slow this down. This, you could be a little bit more interesting here, things like that. I call it the melody of the message.
Like, you know, people wanting to shock poor little bunnies or rats or something. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. So I know, because Marian, I've seen you really blossom and you really grow. What's kind of been one of your challenges of that growth period?
Well, just, you know, over a period of time, I just got to the point where I don't care if I have hecklers or, you know, that kind of stuff. My challenge now is, I think, keeping up with all the technology, because it literally is coming out by the minute now. When I first started, you know, once a year we'd have something really cool come out, you know, and then it was once a month, and then once a week, and then once a day, and then once an hour. And now I'm literally always one step behind everything. And one of my business partners, he is a beta tester for all the new companies that are coming out with apps and different programs and software. And I, of course, have to be involved in that. And so I see things even before they're coming out. So that's what I'm spending a lot of my time on now. And it does take a lot of time to test. Like right now, we're in beta. You know, most of the people that are here on Blab are geeks, unless they've been invited by people like you and me, Tonya.
Yeah,
they've never heard of it because it's brand new. It's beta. It's in its infancy. Pretty soon, it'll be just like Twitter. Everybody will have heard about it. But that's my challenge right now, is the time to keep up with all the technology. But it's fun. I'm not complaining.
And I do think that is, when people start to talk to me, Marian, about the speaking world, a lot of it is just about technology. You know, I don't know how to make a website. I don't know how, you know, I'm constantly saying, you need to talk to Marian, you need to talk to Marian, you know, and, you know, one of the things that people struggle with is the things, it has nothing to do with their message a lot of the times, you know. It's either the technology thing or the stage presence thing. You know, well, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? How am I going to, I don't know how to position myself. I'm standing there. What do I do with my arms? You know?
Oh, Tonya, I have to tell you a story. You might have heard this already, but maybe your listeners haven't. So, because of all the cool things that Tonya's taught me, I've gone through her classes. I'm at every conference. I'm here in the Houston area. I pay attention to the opportunities to speak. And, you know, I have had to cut back and stay in Houston because of all the new stuff that's going on. And Tonya said to me, Marian, do not let that stop you. Do you know that you can do, you know, if you can reach out to any place in the country, or even outside the country if we have a chapter there, and you can Skype in. And so I started accepting Skype invitations to speak at chapters that couldn't afford to fly me in, or, you know, the timing and that type of thing. So technology can be your friend if you just get over the fear. If you just get over the fear of this little light that turns green.
Right. Well, and that's what is so exciting nowadays. I was just talking to a lady in England, right? And she was like, you know, I don't really find much speaking opportunities here. I'm like, it's called the internet. You know, yeah, you got a 6-hour delay process, but I mean, there's no reason you can't change people's lives all over the world now. There's no reason why you need to stay local. Even if you've got a business that's kind of locally based, I don't care where I am, somebody knows somebody here in Austin, Texas, right? There is always someone who is connected to somebody in your city. So even if you're like, well, I'm only based here in, you know, whatever city, there's going to be someone who knows somebody there. And that connection factor is huge. And I know we're running up against the time. I can't believe it's already been this long already. And because I have got to get on another show. Can you believe I got 2 more shows to do tonight? So it's a good thing I did my hair, got my makeup on. So, so do y'all have anything that you would like to offer to our fabulous? I know, Marian, you do. Go ahead and go.
Okay, sure. So because of this new technology and because of all the things that I do already, we've been able to combine this and to offer anybody listening to this. I know this is going to be played a long time, you know, in the future. So I'm going to put a time limit on it. I'm going to give you till February 1st, 2016. That's only 2 months from now, but you know, hey,
3016.
2016. I am going to waive the setup charges if you want a TV show on your website. So all the setup charges that would normally be incurred, we're going to drop them. And you can have your own TV show right on your website. So I'm going to put my information in over here, and you can contact me, and we'll just discuss it and see if it's right for you. And I'll get you in touch with somebody like Elizabeth or Tonya so that you can get more comfortable speaking if that's the fear that you have.
Nice. Well, I'm in on it. I mean, I've got my show, you know, I post these up on it, but if I could systemize it a little bit easier, you know, I'm all
Click
there.
Of a button. Tonya, it's a done for you service. You don't have to do anything except for show up and have a good mic that you talk into, like in your real radio voice.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm on that. All right. How about you, Miss Elizabeth?
Well, what I like to do, an offer for everybody who's listening, is I have a free series of email tips. It's called Star Maker Secrets for Speakers. And you can go to my website, which is www.elizabethbachman.com. And there's a link right there in the upper right-hand corner. And this is a series of tips. They come once every week, sometimes every 2 weeks. They're short, they're useful. And I've spent over 30 years training people to be amazing on stage. Fabulous, to use the word that we both love. And I've spent over 30 years doing it. And so I've just collected a bunch of those tips. And I'm going to post it over here in the chat so that you can see where to get it.
Awesome.
Tonya,
yes.
One more little thing. If you happen to be in the Houston area tomorrow, Tim Gillette, who's in the house right now, is going to be giving a special training for the Future Media Association. It's from 4 to 6 p.m. And you can find the information out on futuremediaassociation.com, and come and see us. And thanks for coming, Tim. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yay, perfect. And let's see. And then I've got a let's see. Oh, it is not gonna. There we go. So I've got a contest that runs every month. So you could go to TonyaHofmann.com. Don't forget that Tonya is with an O and Hoffman's with 1 F, 2 N's, because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell it right. So
I wondered about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
all my awards and everything are all spelled wrong. So, you know, you got to get used to it. I don't care. Another thing, we're looking for speakers for our upcoming summit in December 16th and 17th. So if you would like to be on that, we would love for you to go out there, get your name known, get your message heard. It goes out to my 18,000 people on social media. So if you want some exposure, make sure you jump on that opportunity. So go to Public Speakers Association. I'll put it in here again and jump in on that. It's over under the, I can obviously talk and type at the same time. Under members page, there's a schedule summit. Click on that and just sign up for December. December has a theme of mindset, goal setting. Let's do, what should we be doing for 2016? What do we need to be ready for? So we would love for y'all to be on there, and go ahead and schedule that in. Another thing too that I would love for people to take advantage of is on the conference website. Let me put that in there. What we're doing, it's Public Speakers Conference, and we have a huge offer for a nomination. So you can be nominated for local, national, and international collaborator of the year. And you were nominated, weren't you, Marian?
I was.
Yes. So you need to have that framed right behind you. It looks so nice. Anyways, so jump in on that nomination. Nominate yourself. Get somebody to nominate you. I don't care. It goes to a completely separate group of people that they look at the nominations, but then they go out and they're looking at what you do. How are you connecting? How are you collaborating? And a lot of it is through social media. So jump in, because nominations are almost good as awards. Another thing on there is the video submission. So we're going to have awards for best of presentations. So we have best of for newbie speakers. We're going to have a best of tip for business, tip for health and wellness, personal story, something. There's a whole bunch of them. So you can submit a short one. It's like under 5-minute little presentation, and you might win. So you would definitely want to jump in on that opportunity. So they're both on the website. So we would definitely want you to be on that. I thank you ladies for being on today. Y'all were lovely.
Thank you.
Yes.
So much. So we will definitely want you to come back. Everybody, we want you to come back. I will be here. I'm skipping tomorrow and Wednesday because I'll be on the virtual summit. So you will have to see me on Thursday this week. So make sure you come back, and I look forward to seeing y'all again. So I'm going to end the show with my little